Today we're going to be talking about how to expand that one little core idea and making it into a full and exciting game. Once you have an existing core and or systems that are in place, the design process becomes a little bit different. Everything that you build, every new mechanic should be in relation to how does it affect this core experience. The thing to understand is that everything that you add, it has its own kind of baggage associated with it. The more systems that you start adding, the more expensive everything becomes as a whole. Good support systems should always feed the core experience. Sometimes you just want to showcase the core. You don't require somebody to go, but what it does is reinforces to the player, hey, this is really cool. Or the support system might add meaning to the game. So this will be the board game's theme. Or it'll be the way Gran Turismo built an entire simulation system using menus around a relatively simple racing engine. These systems can also add depth, which is things like different player classes or equipment that you can unlock. And then finally, it can just extend the core game. Let's take a moment to look at a full support web in action. The first thing you really have to do is identify what is the core of the Monster Hunter games. Is it fighting the giant monsters? Or is it the metagame around fighting these monsters? For me, I'd say it's the second one because you're expected to repeat hunts against the exact same monster over and over and over. And everything that you do is getting more powerful. The hunt mission and the gathering missions are the things that you'll spend the most time doing. And these will give you money and crafting supplies, which you can use to make your character stronger, make it easier to hunt larger and more dangerous beasts. And then that pursuit of power sends you in right back into the hunt missions, which further give you crafting supplies. And then the other side systems, the restaurants and the felines, they offer you alternative ways to achieve the same thing and to cut down on the grind. All of these systems are feeding into one another. Now that you have an idea what support is, the question is, how do you find it? Remember that the first thing that I told you to do while finding your game's core is start playtesting immediately. What you're looking for is what are things that are specifically frustrating or feel wrong. These are pain points. And what you can do is look for systems that will either make those less painful or turn them into something that's fun. An example of that is that in the original Cards of Cthulhu, it was a very RNG based game. So the entire magic system was something that allowed me to mitigate the frustration that I was feeling with a whole bunch of bad dice rolls. And you could do the exact opposite too. While you're play testing, you're going to find that naturally you do certain things to pass the time or to enjoy yourself. And what you could do is build systems that teach the player to do the same thing. And the third way is to look at the mechanics and say, how can I make these things more meaningful? And this can be as simple as in a board game. How do we theme this in a way that will make the player see the mechanics as something more? And this would be looking at the Cards of Cthulhu. At its core, it's a simple mathematical game played with standard playing cards. But by telling people that this Two of Hearts is a cultist of Cthulhu, they start to understand a lot more. And you don't even need to know the rules of the game to know that when a lot of evil cultists have lined up, that's a bad thing. The real key thing that you should take away from this video is not specifically building the support systems, but thinking of all of your systems in relation to that one core experience. And you should never, ever add a system because somebody else does it. You need to learn why they do it and ask the question, is it something that will benefit us too? And this is why. Over the next week, what I really want you to do is finalize what is the core of your game and start building systems that support it. I highly recommend that you have one thing that gives the game meaning and then 1 to 2 systems that provide some sort of depth and fun factor. And thank you for watching. Next week, we're going to go into polish and finalizing your game, getting it ready to give to other players. See you then.